Picture this. It's Thursday night, you've had a long day, you're tired, the thought of cooking feels like climbing a mountain. Your phone is right there. A few taps later, and you get that little chime. Your Uber Eats order is here. And you feel that little hit of relief. You deserve it, right? You worked hard today. But then, maybe Saturday morning rolls around. You're getting ready to go out, and you stare into a closet that's literally full of clothes. And you have that thought, I have nothing to wear. So you scroll through your phone, see an ad for that perfect thing, and click buy now. It'll be here Tuesday. And then, maybe it's Sunday evening. A moment of quiet. You open your bank app, just to check. And you see it. A dozen little charges. The streaming service you forgot about. The app subscription you signed up for that one project. The 3 separate food delivery fees. And your checking account just looks thin. It feels like no matter how hard you work, your money just evaporates. And this low-grade humming anxiety just settles in your chest. Sound familiar? If it does, hey, you're in the right place. I'm Karen. And for a long, long time, I was the person in that story. I was spending like a Karen. And I don't mean that as a meme. I mean it as a mindset. A state of being on autopilot, where spending feels like the solution to every problem. Stress, boredom, sadness, even celebration. Where your money seems to slip through your fingers, funding a lifestyle that's supposed to look good, but doesn't always feel good. I've been there. I built this channel to talk about the psychology and the real practical steps behind financial change. So if that resonates with you, consider hitting that subscribe button. We're going to go deep today on how everything, and I mean everything, changes when you stop spending like Karen. Here's what's interesting. This isn't about being cheap. It's not about deprivation. It's about something much more powerful. It's about shifting from being a passive consumer of your life to becoming the active owner of it. Spending like Karen is that autopilot state. The transformation begins the second you hit pause. Let's talk about why that autopilot is so strong. Modern marketing is genius. It has brilliantly rebranded overspending as self-care. Treat yourself. You deserve it. This isn't a purchase. It's an investment in you. We hear this all day, every day, and it taps into something deep. When you're stressed from a job, or feeling down, or just overwhelmed, buying something gives you a real, neurological hit of dopamine. It's a reward. The problem is, it's a loan. Because that hit is almost always followed by a crash. That pang of anxiety, that shame of hiding the bag from your partner, that dread when you check your balance. You're trading a 5-minute high for 5 days of low-grade financial fear. And then there's the social currency. We're constantly comparing our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. You see a friend's perfect vacation photo, or a coworker's new bag, or an influencer's beautifully curated home, and subconsciously, you feel you need to keep up. You spend to project an image of success, rather than quietly, consistently building actual success. It's like you're funding a movie version of your life, but you're not even the director. You're just running the craft services table exhausted. And all these little spends, the $7 latte, the $12 lunch delivery, the $15 impulse buy at the checkout line, the $8 monthly subscription for an app you opened once, they create what I call the invisible leak. Death by 1,000 cuts. You don't notice any one of them, but together, they drain your financial power. They rob you of your ability to say yes to the big important things, like taking a career risk, or handling a car repair without panic, or finally taking that trip you dream about. So you end up in this cycle of stress, frustration, and shame. Stress when a surprise bill hits, because there's no buffer. Frustration because you feel like you're running on a financial treadmill, working so hard but going absolutely nowhere. And shame because you feel like you should know better, like you're somehow broken with money. But here's the thing. You are not broken. Your brain is just wired by 1,000 clever advertisements and a culture that equates spending with happiness. The first most radical step is simply to become conscious. To move from consumer to owner. This is the core mindset shift. An owner doesn't just react. An owner plans. An owner decides where their resources, their money, their energy, their time are going to go. Let's talk about how to rewire that autopilot. Neuroscience shows us that impulsive desires are like waves. They build, they crest, and if you don't act on them, they fade. This is where the 7-2-hour rule comes in. For any non-essential purchase, and you get to define what essential is, you institute a mandatory 72-hour waiting period. See the cute sweater online? Add it to your cart, or take a screenshot and set a reminder for 3 days later. I cannot tell you how many times I've come back to something after 72 hours and literally laughed. The urge is completely gone. You've just short-circuited the dopamine chase and made a space for a real decision. Then there's something called the pain of paying. Studies show that handing over physical cash actually registers as a slight pain in the brain. Swiping a card or clicking buy now doesn't. That pain is a useful signal. It makes us think. We can recreate that digitally with something I call the pre-spend pause. Before you hit confirm purchase on anything online, you physically stop. You put your hands in your lap. You take one slow, deep breath for 10 seconds. It sounds too simple, but in that tiny space, you give your rational brain a chance to catch up to your emotional brain. You ask, is this aligning with my goals, or is this just soothing a feeling? And this leads to the biggest shift of all, identity reformation. This isn't about saying I am someone who can't spend. That feels restrictive and miserable. It's about saying I am someone who chooses where my money goes, with purpose. It shifts everything from an external restriction to an internal empowerment. Let me give you 2 concrete examples of what this identity shift looks like in real life. First, the coffee ritual. Old Karen me. I had a $7 daily artisan latte habit. It was just part of my morning. I didn't even think about it. It was a passive autopilot spend. New Karen, I bought a fantastic insulated thermos and some truly premium beans I love. That's $7 a day. It didn't vanish. I redirected it. That $7 a day, which is about $200 a month, became an automatic contribution to my investment fund. The identity shift wasn't, I'm too poor for coffee. It was, I am an investor. My morning ritual didn't disappear. It transformed. I still get my excellent coffee, but now it's part of a narrative where I'm building my future. Second, the wardrobe. Old Karen would see an event on the calendar and think, I need a new outfit. I'd buy something trendy, wear it once, and it would end up in the back of the closet. New Karen adopted a cost-per-wear mindset. Instead of buying 5 cheap disposable dresses, I invested in one incredible, timeless blazer that makes me feel powerful and put together. I wear it to meetings, to dinners. I've dressed it up and down. The cost per wear is pennies now. The identity shift? I am a curator of quality, not a collector of clutter. My spending became intentional, not reactive. Now, I can already hear some objections, and that's good. Let's address them head on. You might be thinking, but Karen, life is for living. I don't want to pinch every penny. And I am right there with you. A life of constant restriction and counting pennies is not the goal. But let me ask you this. Is a life of constant low-grade financial anxiety really living? Is scrolling through shopping apps to numb out after a stressful day really living? True freedom isn't buying whatever you want in the moment. True freedom is buying options for your future self. It's the freedom from panic. That's living. Or maybe you're thinking, it's just $10. It doesn't matter. This is the most powerful lie we tell ourselves. The so-called latte factor is real, but it's not about the latte. It's about the mindset that dismisses $10. That same mindset will dismiss 100 different $10 decisions. It's the mindset that says small things don't count. But in finance, and in life, small things are the only things that count. They compound. A single $10 bill is a piece of paper. 100 $10 decisions a month is a $1,000 flight to somewhere beautiful, or the start of your emergency fund. The amount is not the point. The consciousness is the point. When you start making these shifts, the emotional rewards are immediate. There's this incredible moment of clarity, like when you finally sit down and audit your subscriptions and find $150 a month for things you literally never use. It's not even about the money, it's about the realization that you've been funding your own distraction. There's this surge of empowerment the first time you walk out of a store, or close a browser tab, and say, no, I don't need that. And you feel stronger, not deprived. You feel like you're in charge. And then there's hope. The first time you see your savings account actually grow, when you have a little buffer between you and life's surprises, it creates a visceral sense of security. It's peace of mind you can feel in your body. So how do you actually start? Let's get practical. I call this the Stop Spending Like Karen starter kit. It's not a rigid budget. It's a series of experiments to break the autopilot. Step 1. The 30-day no-buy list. This is your reset button. Take out a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. Identify 3 to 5 categories where your Karen spending happens most. For most people, it's things like takeout/delivery, fast fashion/online clothing, apps and subscriptions, home decor, or beauty products. You pick your categories, and you simply pause them for 30 days, not forever. You're not saying I can never order food again. You're saying for the next 30 days, I'm going to break the autopilot habit around this. It's a detox. It forces creativity. It makes you conscious. Step 2. The values-aligned budget. Throw out the old idea of a budget with 50 restrictive categories. Instead, think of your money going into just 3 buckets. Bucket 1 is security and freedom. This is for your bills, your rent, your groceries, your savings, and any debt payments. This bucket buys you the foundation of a calm life. Bucket 2 is passions and connections. This is for the things that truly light you up and connect you to others. Hobbies, books, gifts for friends, a special dinner out with someone you love, a concert ticket. Bucket 3 is ease and convenience. This is the Karen bucket. This is for the takeout when you're truly exhausted. The impulse buy. The little treats. Here's the key. You give this bucket the smallest fixed amount. You're not caging the impulse, you're channeling it. You're giving it a designated playground so it doesn't wreck the entire yard. Step 3. The Power Hour. This is the weekly ritual that builds your owner muscle. 1 hour every Sunday, or whatever evening works for you. You block it off. In that hour, you do 3 things. First, you review your spending from the past week with curiosity, not judgment. You're just collecting data. Second, you plan for the week ahead. Maybe you plan your meals so the takeout temptation is lower. Third, you do 1 financial admin task. Cancel 1 unused subscription, or set up 1 automatic transfer to savings. 1 hour of intentional planning saves you countless hours of diffuse anxiety throughout the week. I know some of you are thinking, this sounds boring. An hour on Sunday? And I get it. But let me ask you, what's more boring? An hour of peaceful planning on a Sunday, or 168 hours of low-grade background financial anxiety all week long? That hour is an investment in your mental quiet. Or maybe you're thinking, I've tried budgets. They never work for me. That's probably because you tried to cage Karen. You tried to lock away the part of you that wants nice things and feels stressed. Don't cage her. Channel her. That's why the ease and convenience bucket exists. It's her guilt-free fun fund. It protects your bigger goals in bucket 1 and 2. It makes the plan sustainable. The ultimate goal here isn't just a prettier bank statement. The motivation comes from a deeper mindset shift. It's about the compound effect of calm. The greatest return on investment isn't just the money you save. It's the anxiety you eliminate. It's the mental bandwidth you regain. Bandwidth you can use for your relationships, your creativity, your actual life. It's the confidence that comes from knowing you can handle a surprise. That confidence changes how you walk into a room, how you negotiate a salary, how you show up in the world. It redefines what rich means. Old Karen thought rich was having things. The new bag, the fancy car, the constant stream of packages. The transformed Karen knows Rich is having options. The option to change jobs if you want to. The option to book a flight to see a friend in need. The option to say yes to a spontaneous opportunity, or a firm, peaceful no to a demand that doesn't serve you. That is true wealth. So let's visualize the transformation for a second. On one side, there's old Karen. Her space is cluttered, both physically and mentally. She's rushed, frazzled. Her face is lit by the glow of her phone, scrolling shopping apps late at night, with that anxious look in her eyes. She's running on a treadmill. On the other side, there's new Karen. Her space, both her physical space and her mental space, is clear. It's not empty, it's curated. On her calendar, she has Power Hour blocked off. She looks at her growing savings account not with greed, but with a calm smile. She's not deprived. She feels designed. She has intentionally designed her financial life to support the actual life she wants to live. Everything changes when you stop spending like Karen, not because you spend less, but because you value more. You trade the clutter of things for the clarity of purpose. You stop funding a lifestyle you're supposed to want, and you start building a life you actually love. The goal was never to have a perfect color-coded budget. The goal was to have peace of mind. And that change? It's priceless. Your first Power Hour starts now. Not tomorrow, not next Monday. Right now, if you can. Open your bank app. But do it with a new intention. Not with dread, not with shame. Open it with curiosity. You're not a detective looking for what you did wrong. You're an archaeologist, looking for your first artifact of freedom. Look for that first $10 of autopilot spending, that forgotten subscription, that recurring delivery charge. Find it, cancel it, or decide to pause it. And redirect that $10. Put it in a savings pocket, or round up your payment and send it to debt. Or literally set it aside for your passions bucket. That moment, that single, conscious decision, is the moment Karen starts to change everything. It's the moment you move from passenger to driver. You can do this.